Hey guys, welcome to another video, and today I wanted to talk to you guys about preservation in gaming. And the reason I wanted to talk to you about this is because of Concord, how fast it came in and how fast it went out. I wanted to talk about like what is the purpose of online only games. So online only games, like, they take forever to develop because Concord took like 8 years to make, and it only lasted 2 weeks after Sony pulled the plug. And it sucks for the developers because I'm sure they were passionate about their game, but they were too late to the party, and making it an online only experience really tarnished the game and where we made it really fail. Because if they offered a single player in that game, it probably would have done a little bit better, but they didn't. And the online only, like, I don't understand why it's a thing. Like, I get we all have internet, I get that, but why are you artificially having a set lifespan for your game? You spend so many hours of your time developing and nurturing this game to completion, and only have it last a couple years, or in this case of Concord, a couple weeks before it's dead. And the only thing that's left about the game is the gameplay you see on YouTube or on Twitter or any social media platform. Like, it's a really bad investment for the publishers to really do, because all of that hard work just gone in a second. So if companies like Microsoft or Sony really care about game preservation, they would not invest in online only games, because because it's not a sustainable system. Like, yeah, you'll make a quick buck for like microtransactions and stuff, but you're going to lose your trust and reputation with your consumers. And this kind of goes into the remasters and remakes. So recently we got Lollipop Chainsaw and Dead Rising Deluxe Remastered. So both of these games are advertised as remasters, which Lollipop Chainsaw is a remaster, it's not a remake. It was initially supposed to be one, but the developers took the easier way and just pretty much did almost nothing except for the repop mode and a couple of line changes and a little bit of a graphical change from the original game, because the original game was more comic book like than the repop version. The repop version is more like, not realistic looking, but it just lost all of its charm with the comic book feel. And the repop version of the game is the inferior version to the original game from its style and even its performance. Like, the performance is a little better than the original, but the bare minimum for a remaster wasn't really there. You do get pretty crispy details, but the frame rate was not stable, and it's a game that is over 12 years old. So the PlayStation 5, the Xbox Series X should be able to handle the game no problem at a locked frame rate. Switch, I understand a little more given the age of the hardware, but there's no excuse to what the developer put out. And honestly, I would suggest you wait for a sale for the game if you haven't already. But it's like, I wonder what would have happened if they did decide to go through with it and make the whole game again, like remake. Because would they have cut corners like they did with the remaster, or would they actually put the time, dedication, and love to make a remake that is the definitive version of the game? But what we got was very lackluster, very disappointing, and honestly, it could have been delayed for a couple months so they can iron out those stability issues for the frame rate, but they didn't. And honestly, I'm a little afraid for the Shadows of the Dam remaster that's coming out, because I believe it's the same developer that's doing that game too. But on the other hand, we get the Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster, which is advertised as a remaster, but it's actually a little more of a remake. So the game feels almost exactly the same as the original in terms of its gameplay, and the level design is the exact same, but the aesthetic of the mall is a little different. It's a little more realized, a little more lived in, I guess. So, that was like a textbook ideal version of a remaster, even though the changes to the game did piss off a lot of people in the purist community, I guess, for Dead Rising, which to me, the changes didn't bother me much except for the cliff boss fight. But everything else about the game is pretty much flawless. The game runs very good on console. I didn't get any frame dips from what I can tell. The gameplay is very faithful to the original, so that might be a good thing for some people and a bad thing for others. But overall, a great remaster. And I just wanted to tell you guys that there's a very huge difference between both of these games. One being very lazy, the other one being uh, an improvement over the original game. And when it comes to game preservation, like if you're gonna do a lazy remaster, then I'd rather have you not remaster the game at all, because a game like Lollipop Chainsaw is very loved by its fan base, that it deserved, to be treated as such, and not just put a bare minimum remaster that wasn't even play tested to iron out the frame rate issues, compared to what the Capcom did with the deluxe remaster for Dead Rising, which is an improvement over the original game, bringing it for modern audiences that never played the game before, but also paying so much respect to the original game. And I'd rather have that than what Lollipop Chainsaw did. And that's another thing to really consider, because there's a lot of lazy remasters out there that are like the bare minimum, where it's 1080p, 60 frames per second, and up resed textures, and that's like the very bare minimum. And Lollipop Chainsaw didn't even do that. So a lot of these games really deserve to be properly remastered and properly cared for, because a lot of the games that get remastered are games that are loved by many and deserved a lot more. Just wanted to tell you guys my thoughts on this and why I think game preservation is it's still kicking, but it could be a lot better. So I want to hear your thoughts on the topic as well. Anyways, guys, see you next time.